Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
Yeah, you asked at the beginning the pillars of the program, and again, this goes back to simplicity and just, we recruit a certain style. It's not a secret. I think one of the best compliments you can get is when a league coach or somebody else says, "Hey, man, that's a Grace guy." Like, that's awesome, because what that means is you have an identity.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches, like they have, like, you gotta find out what that is, right? And then you got to go get that. And to hear, "Man, that's a Grace guy," you couldn't get a better compliment. Our pillars are very simple. I ask my kids to give me three things, and three things constantly. And obviously there are other things about our school and things we got to do with academics and, the spiritual growth. And we're going to pour into that. But as far as basketball and between the lines, like, I'm never going to coach effort, because college basketball is hard. And we're in a world now where it's harder. We talked about this. It's harder. Playground guys, right? Like you and I we just grew up, and I didn't need a schedule to go play. We didn't play 100 AAU games where winning or losing didn't matter. You're just playing another game, right? So what we do is, if you can give me great effort, if you can give me a teachable attitude, I don't need you to have, we say great attitude. Everybody wants a good attitude, but like sometimes bad days happen.
Yeah.
I just need you to have a teachable attitude. And I tell every single time we're in a game, my guys know this, they probably get nauseated by it, is it's okay to have emotions, but it's not okay to be emotional. Like the ups and downs, bad things happen. And if you're playing really hard, the first part, you're going to make mistakes, right? So you just got to find ways to stay but if a big play happens, if we hit a huge three or we get an alley-oop, have emotions. That's okay. And then the last one is the most important in our program, is just being a great teammate. And we can define that so many different ways. But if you're a crappy teammate, man, you can take the day off, right? And what does that look like? Well, we talk about it. If you fail a test, or if you cheat and now you're suspended, or if you're drinking and you're suspended, or if you're making decisions, we're all tied together, and you hurt all of us, right? That's being a bad teammate. So great effort, great attitude, great teammate. If you can give me those things and give me them on a day-to-day basis, we're going to be all right. And we can handle all the other stuff, because everything kind of fits in that box, right, of those things. And we can do tangents and get outside and make it more broad if we want. But great effort, great attitude, great teammate.
I love those three things. And no matter what your pillars are, so often I think we only look at the positive sides to them. Like, what does great effort look like? What does it mean to be teachable? What does it mean to be a great teammate? But you've nailed it. And Shawnee Harley, she was a Canadian women's coach. She has this whole thing about culture breakers, and take the culture that you want, and as a group, let's figure out all the ways that, what does it look like when these break down? But that to me is almost like countercultural to what, instead of living in this positive fairy tale world where, guys, everything's going to be great from beginning to end of the season. No, we're going to actually talk about when these things break down, what does it look like? And then how are we going to handle that? It's like you're preparing to fail, but at the same time, preparing to fail that way, it keeps you from being emotional when those failures inevitably happen.
Yeah, and they're going to happen. I think there's some coaches out there I have a lot of respect for. And, man, our level is flooded with dudes that are just flat out impressive, right? Colby Blaine talked a little bit about, he's the College of Idaho head coach, and he's won a ton of games here, and probably should be a Division I coach somewhere if that's what he chooses to be. But he spent a lot of time during his national championship team last year. They would practice a lot of stuff where bad situations did happen. And so almost practicing the emotional side of things where, okay, team goes on a 7-0 run, we're down 7, we've got these guys in foul trouble, there's 4.5 minutes to go, like, now what? Like, how do you stay in the moment and keep doing what you're supposed to be doing? I was listening to another podcast, and it was really funny. Someone had said, I wish I wrote it down who had said it. They said basketball is the only sport where you play 36 minutes one way and the last 4 minutes you play completely different. Right. And it's true. Like you said, yeah, actually there's a
Yeah.
lot of truth to that. Of like, we're so situational. We try to do
Yeah.
so much, but in reality, yes, there are little things with time and score that you have to manipulate and change as a coach, but you obviously want to play the same way for 40 minutes if that's your style. And but it is so true.
Yeah, and Nate
It's
Oates just said it. He said that they were giving him like kind of crap in the press conference about, hey man, your guy had 2 fouls and you kept playing him. He's like, I'm not a
yeah,
coach that's going to pull a guy out just because he has 2 fouls. Players foul, and they foul at different times throughout the game.
yeah,
And if they foul at 2 fouls this point or 2 fouls later on, it doesn't matter. It's fouls and it's time. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. I love that.
yep, exactly. It's again, you just try to stay true to who you are the whole time, and then it goes back into, after the scoreboard is over, the game runs out of time, and you sit there and you get in the locker room. And this is what I've done better of now, being older and going through this, is like, okay, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd much rather win ugly than lose pretty. Like, I'd take an ugly win all day long. If we stink and we win, like, I'm competitive. Now it doesn't change the fact that I'm gonna rewatch the film and go, gosh, man, this is we got to get better. But really, what you're trying to tell your kids is you're trying not to devalue winning. You never want to devalue winning, but I think you can handle those situations a little better if things don't go your way.
Mm.
We were, I guess I could try to say, we were the number one team most of the year, and a lot of the people would tell you we were probably the most talented or the best basketball team in the NAIA, but we didn't win our last game. And we got beat by Freed Hardman. They hit a couple big shots, made some plays, and we got sent home. And the next day, it's funny because you're getting phone calls and everybody's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry." And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay, and it sucks, but you realize you get home and, hey, it's Indiana. It's 75 and sunny right now. Like, we haven't seen the sun in 5 months, as you can tell. But you try to put it in perspective of, hey, did you play the way we play? Did you give me your effort? Did you have a great attitude? Were you a great teammate? Did you follow the game plan? Did you give me your best? And if you did that and we got beat, like, I think that's one thing today that's becoming harder is people who are super competitive are afraid to lose. And I think being afraid to lose, man, puts you in ball and chains, and you can never get where you want to get to if you're scared to get beat. And I can tell you this, after year 5, I don't want to lose, but I can get beat. Like, we're going to win the right way. We will lose the right way. We will play the right way. And I'm going to be judged on other things.
Mm.
I said this on Jason Romano's podcast.
Love that guy.
I said it earlier in the year. Like, I really do. I'll ask him. I do not know if God cares if I win or lose games. I really do. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I don't think he does. But I do think he cares how I win and lose games. And I think that's the message we tried to teach our kids this especially this year, is
Yeah.
we're gonna do the how right. And if you get beat, that's okay, man. Like, we're gonna be all right. Because 10 years from now, when you come back and you have that reunion and you are with your little kids and you're married and you see that Final Four banner hanging up in the rafters, and you're not one of you is going to be talking about any game you played. You know it being older. I know it being older and being,
Yeah.
a has been. I don't remember any game I played. I remember bits and pieces, but man, you remember those moments, those locker room, those bus trips, the funny times, the toughness week, where the conditioning part, where you had to come together, the part where coach was, crazy and did something, or it just, those are what you talk about, and it's just they don't know it yet because they're 20.
Yeah,
And they'll know it at 38 though.
that's right. To your point, we can glorify God when we win, and we can glorify Him when we lose. That I think that's what, like, to your point, like, does He care if we win or lose? I don't think so personally. And you were saying you don't know, and like I don't, but I do think you nailed it. He cares that we glorify Him in either situation, and teaching our players what that looks like is really important. To me, it's a little bit more than just after the game saying all the glory to God. Like, that's kind of the first statement that a lot of players will say, and I appreciate that. Like, it's better than not saying it. But
Sure.
like, look back over your entire body of work, the way that we were teammates with each other and we handled adversity, the way we approached our opposition, the way we handled officials. Golly, just watching the national championship, one of the two coaches was very aggressive towards officials, and in a way that kind of made even Bill Rafferty say, like, he needs to back off, but glorifying Him in the way that we play, that is regardless of winning and losing. I think that's
Amen.
possible.
Amen.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.